This is DWBR of the Philippine Broadcasting Service. 104.3 on FM. Music and talk. Nice and easy.
Good evening. This is the PBS Network News. Today, September 18, 2013. Commercial flights to Zamboanga partially resume starting tomorrow. This after the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines lifted a closure of the city's international airport because of improving situation. CAAP Director General William Hotchkiss says they had authorized to mount 2 commercial flights starting tomorrow, 1 each for PAL Express and Cebu Pacific, and 2 each on Friday. Andrew said the airline passengers will only be allowed to carry 1 hand-carried luggage on the flights. Earlier today, PNP Deputy for Operations Felipe Rojas said government troops have recaptured KGK building, believed to be the base where MNLF Commander Habir Malik was holed up. Rojas also said government forces have retaken as much as 80% of MNLF-controlled areas in the city as the standoff entered its 10th day today. Zamboanga residents affected by the standoff are assured of support from the national government as they start rebuilding their lives. Marie Ruiz with this report.
The national government will help Zamboanga City residents rebuild their lives. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda said the Aquino administration is committed to provide assistance to the victims of the Zamboanga incident, especially those who lost their loved ones and homes. Lacerda said people losing their homes to the MNLF attack is a real concern for the government. The Department of Social Welfare and Development has enough disaster funds to sustain the immediate needs of the evacuees affected by the Zamboanga standoff. Meanwhile, Lacerda debunked claims that President Aquino is not in Zamboanga City. He was responding to queries on reports that the president is either in Malaysia or Davao. Lacerda says the president is in Zamboanga, and although he has not been seen publicly since Saturday, he is busy and is directing operations against the MNLF and making sure that the needs of Zamboanga residents are attended to. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Relief goods continue to pour in for thousands of residents in Zamboanga City. Some 900 tons of relief goods on board a Philippine Navy ship is expected to arrive in Zamboanga by tomorrow. Alvin Baltasar with this report.
A Philippine Navy ship is set to transport relief goods to Zamboanga City. Philippine Navy spokesperson Lieutenant Commodore Gerald Fabic, BRP Benguet, will come from Captain Moya Boat Landing Pier Naval Base in Sangli Point in Cavite and is set to proceed to Zamboanga City this coming Friday. According to Ensign Chester Ross Cabaltera, Chief of the AFP Public and Civil Affairs Unit, the ship has a capacity of 900 tons and may reach its destination to Zamboanga after 2 days. In line with this, the Philippine Navy wanted the public to know that they are receiving relief good donations to be distributed to the affected residents of the standoff in Zamboanga City. Alvin Baltasar for PBS News.
The Justice Department has formally indicted 70 MNLF rebels who were among those who infiltrated Zamboanga City. Interior Secretary Maroja says charges of rebellion and violation of RA 9851 or the international humanitarian law are among the charges filed against them. He said the 2 charges are on top of the other criminal cases filed against the rebels, which include murder, arson, illegal possession of firearms, among others. Various Muslim groups lambasted MNLF Chair Nur Miswari for the Zamboanga crisis, saying his actions had caused collateral damage to many innocent civilians. Alvin Baltasar with this report.
Various Muslim groups lambasted MNLF Chairman Nur Miswari due to his alleged drastic actions and violence in Zamboanga City, which is now on its 10th day. Muslim leaders say that they do understand the sentiments of Miswari, who felt got set aside in the formulation of the Bangsamoro Framework Agreement, but the MNLF chief should have expressed his response in a peaceful manner and not through a furious approach. The group likewise condemned the MNLF's act causing collateral damage to many innocent civilians. no any good as caused to the affected residents with the ongoing skirmishes brought by Ms. Wari's men.
May mali. Ano yung mga maling nakita? Yung mali is paggamit ng violence. That is entirely unacceptable to many of us Filipinos. Not all thousands are in favor of that.
Former MILF spokesperson Attorney Abe Caballo. Alvin Baltasar for PBS News.
In other developments, Malacanang is unfazed over reports of a new destabilization plot against President Aquino. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacierda says Malacanang has not received a report on the group calling itself Reformed Officers Union. Reports claim the said group is disappointed by how the government is being run. Lacierda says they are not bothered by this report, insisting soldiers and policemen are fully aware that President Aquino has been attending to their needs. Malacanang assures the public that there is no compromise deal with any lawmaker accused of misusing the Priority Development Assistance Fund. Marie Ruiz with this report.
Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacierda gave the assurance following reports that an official implicated in a pork barrel scam allegedly requested Malacanang not to charge him and instead would return the money. Lacierda said all those found guilty of PDAF misuse should be held accountable. He also pointed out that once cases are filed, government will not enter into a compromise deal. The palace official adds there will be no sacred cows in the investigation of the Interagency Anti-Graft Coordinating Council. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Vice President Jejomar Binay says he is hoping there will be no politics involved in the plunder charges filed against lawmakers involved in the PDAF scam. Binay made a statement amid speculations the Justice Department is politically motivated in choosing opposition lawmakers as first batch to be subjects of inquiry in the investigation. Binay says he is hopeful that the DOJ will not focus on members of the opposition alone. He also called on the Filipino people to refrain from judging the accused and instead give them a chance to prove their innocence. After its second and final hearing today on the Freedom on Information Bill, the Senate is likely to begin plenary debates before it adjourns for a month-long recess starting September 25. Jojo Ismael with this report.
Senator Crespo, chair of the Committee on Public Information, which deliberates the government transparency measure, along with the committees on civil service and finance, said they have agreed to submit their report on the floor by next week. Poe said the joint panel hopes to submit a committee report on September 24, a sponsorship on the floor on September 25, and approval on third and final readings by the chamber within the year. In our committee, one thing is really clear. It is really important to enact into law the Freedom of Information or FOI bill, she said. If we have an FOI law, maybe we have not reached this point and we were able to immediately curb wrongdoings, the senator added. For PBS News, George Ismael, Senate.
Still in the news, the Department of Budget and Management has released 578 million pesos for the construction of classrooms nationwide. Of the amount, 171 million pesos was allocated for Region 3. Region 7 will get 95 million pesos, while Region 12 will be allotted 52 million pesos. In the meantime, 47 million pesos has been allocated for the students in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Budget Secretary Butch Abad says the fund release would address the acute classroom shortage. In other news, President Aquino signs a law which seeks to curb incidents of bullying in schools all over the country. Republic Act 10627, or the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, mandates all elementary and secondary schools to adopt policies to prevent and address bullying in their institutions. Marie Ruiz has more.
Bullying refers to any severe or repeated use by students of written, verbal, or electronic expression or a physical act or gesture directed at another student that has the effect of causing fear, creating a hostile environment at school, and disrupting the education process. Under the new law, the Department of Education shall include in its training programs, courses, or activities which shall provide opportunities for school administrators and teachers to develop their knowledge and skills in preventing or responding to any bullying act. It also provides mechanisms to address bullying. Permits to operate of private schools who fail to comply with the law will be suspended. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
After 13 years in a Saudi jail, pardoned Filipino worker Dondon Lanuza is finally arriving home tomorrow. Vice President Jojo Binay, who also sits as presidential advisor on OFW concerns, says Lanuza will go straight to his home in Sampaloc. Lanuza was sentenced to death in 2011 for killing a Saudi national, but was spared execution after the victim's family accepted 3 million riyals, or almost 35 million pesos, in blood money. The Philippine government and Lanuza supporters were able to raise the equivalent of 700,000 riyals, while Saudi King Abdullah shouldered the remaining amount. Binay again thanked the Saudi King, the private groups, and the Philippine Embassy in Saudi for their effort in saving Lanuza's life. In other stories, Malacanang says the arrest of Anakpawi's party list representative Fernando Hiccup and 10 others while on a rally inside Hacienda Luisita is a law enforcement issue. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda said insinuations that the palace may have had a hand in the arrest of Hiccup are baseless. Lacerda noted that there are two versions of the incident, one from the police and another from Hiccup. But Lacerda maintains it is best for the courts to discuss it. Hiccup claims his group was arrested after interviewing residents about reports of human rights violations in Hacienda Luisita. A palace official is urging more companies to sign the Integrity Pledge, a commitment to ethical business practices and good governance. Marie Ruiz with this report.
Budget Secretary Butchabad aired the call a day before the Integrity Summit to be held at the Makati Shangri-La Hotel. As of now, there are 1,700 Integrity Pledge signatories. Abad hopes that this number will be expanded to at least 2,000. The budget chief laments that only 47 of the Bureau of Internal Revenue's list of top 200 corporate taxpayers have signed the Integrity Pledge. The third Integrity Summit features the significant progress made by the private sector that will spearhead the drive in building the Philippines as a nation with integrity. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Finally, in news abroad, UN leader Ban Ki-moon says he will press the foreign ministers of the United States, Russia, Britain, France, and China to take joint action on the Syria crisis at a meeting next week. He made the announcement as UN envoys from the 5 Permanent Security Council members failed to overcome divisions over a resolution on destroying Syria's chemical weapons. The 5 major powers have been split over the Syria war ever since protests against President Bashar al-Assad started in March of 2011. Ban said attacks with banned chemical weapons were only the tip of the iceberg in the Syria crisis. The UN leader is to meet with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to discuss a possible peace conference to end the worst crisis. And with that, we end the PBS Network News today, the 18th day of September, 2013. I'm Maju Encomienda Ramos.
This is Business Radio.